Hey, everybody. Good morning and welcome. Happy Sunday. And you are here at Weightless in Mind, Body, and Spirit with Dr. Penn and her superstar guest, Dr. Carol Penn. We are so excited to be here on this Father's Day Sunday. And who am I? Dr. Carol Penn, triply board certified in family medicine, obesity medicine, and osteopathic manipulative medicine. I am also a master movement mindset and meditation coach, wife, mother, sister, friend, and all the wonderful things that we play together. And you see, we have this extraordinary panel here for you today. And on the count of three, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Happy Father's Day.
I'm so excited. I'm not here on my usual location, having all kinds of technical challenges where we are. So, you know what? We're not going to worry about that. I'm going to just call my guests popcorn style. They're going to introduce themselves, say where they're from, what they're up to, and then we're going to get into the flow of the show. But as always, we have ladies first. So, Reverend Zemoria, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. So happy to be here and to see all of you wonderful kings that are on the show this morning. We're happy to be here to support you. So again, I'm Reverend Zemoria Brandon, ordained interfaith minister, administrator, social worker for the Philadelphia, Delaware Valley chapter of the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America. And I'm up to so many things, I don't even have time to talk about it. So we're going to pass the mic.
We'll pass the mic and welcome to Miss Linda Parker Edwards. Hashtag Meditation Nation to you, Linda. So we are going to go right on over here to the next person I see is my good friend, Dr. Jared.
Good morning, Dr. Carol. Good morning, everyone out there. I'm Dr. Jared Patton. I'm a board-certified pediatrician, #1 best-selling author, career coach, and I'm just happy to be here on this Father's Day, celebrating fathers. Waiting for all of my kids to be up this morning and wishing me happy Father's Day. And it's just a great time to be with all of you guys today. So thank you for having me on the show.
Wonderful, wonderful. So I see my king has just popped on, Mr. Diem Jones.
Yes. Good morning and happy Father's Day to all, not us all here assembled, but such a joy to be surrounded by like-minded souls. But I'm Diem Jones. I'm a arts administrator, a writer, a poet. I direct a spiritual retreat center, musician, and I'm a dad. And I'm here today to try to shine some light on the work that dads are doing, and just happy to be enjoying.
Well, welcome and good morning, and welcome, Christine. Thanks for tuning in. And let's go on over here to, let's see, the next doctor, Dr. Kwame. See, the audio is out a little bit. Yeah, you're on mute, Dr. Kwame. Dr. Kwame's checking for.
There he is.
Oh my goodness, the reason for this season. Ooh, the Awesome Dad Playbook. All right, all right. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. So, and let's go right on to Dr. Sanul.
Yes, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Can you all hear me?
Morning.
Can you all hear me?
Yes,
Thank you.
I could hear you.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm Dr. Sanul Corrielus. Thank you so much for having me with you all this morning, Dr. Carol, and all my super friends. Good morning to you all. Good morning to all the dads out there. I'm Dr. Sanul Corrielus. I'm a board certified cardiologist. I'm the CEO of Corrielus Cardiology and Suave Concierge. Most importantly, I'm a dad. What I do, I help men. I work one-on-one with men at the prime of their lives so they can live the best time of their lives, protecting them from dying of heart disease so they can fulfill their gifts and their God-given purpose. I do that through my concierge practice here in Philadelphia. And I know there are quite a few of my super friends here who are in Philadelphia. And again, thank you for having me here, and looking forward to a great show.
Yes, well, I'm really excited because, you know, Dr. Jared's going to be talking to us about there's an opportunity for us all to see each other and be together in Philadelphia in the not too distant future. And we have Mr. Ronald Brown joining us. Welcome. This is the King of Juneteenth. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Want to come on and say hello to everybody?
Welcome. It's a blessing.
Let's see, can we hear you, Mr. Brown? Well, it looks like he's frozen. That's all right. We're going to press on. We're all having wonderful technical challenges this morning. And if we don't get if the technical stuff doesn't flow, it just means we have to do a redo. And it means we really all had to get together. Dr. Jared in Philadelphia in just about a month from now, just about a month. So, Reverend Zemoria, I'm going to ask you to open us up and kick us off with all of the things that we are celebrating this morning, and perhaps just, you know, send us off into the show with a blessing. And for all the dads out there as well, and all of those that have to be a dad from time to time, and that's all of us. We have both. You know, I always tell everybody Happy Mother's Day and Happy Father's Day. And some people say, "Well, I'm not a father." I said, "But you have a father." So that energetic imprint is with all of us. Good morning, Patrick, and welcome. So, Reverend Zemoria.
Yes, yes. Well, good morning again and welcome. And even though we're having these technical challenges, we're still here, we're pressing on, we're moving forward. So whatever we have to do that. So please, if you hear us clear, just tap into our heart space, you know, so that you know that we're here for you. And I'm getting my apologies for that. I should have cut my phone off. That's a spam. And that's all part of the technical challenges that we live with every day. So this is an interesting time. That, of course, today is Father's Day. And then last Thursday, June 17th, President Biden and Kamala Harris signed into legislation Juneteenth as a national holiday. And we've been waiting for this for a long time. And then, so yesterday was Juneteenth. And then also it was World Sickle Cell Awareness Day. And the third annual Shine the Light on Sickle Cell. So what does all this mean, converging at the same time, on the same planet, in all the communities? So when I think about Juneteenth, and of course, Ron Brown is going to definitely speak more to that, but I think about the day that the men and their families found out in 1865, 2.5 years after slavery had been declared to be ended. I think about how they were feeling, the jubilant feelings that they had that we are finally free. I think about those men and their families, those sons, those uncles, those cousins, those grandfathers. How were they? Let's think about how were they feeling when they got the news that you're free now. So I think about that and the impact that that had on them moving forward. And so when I think about Father's Day, I want to acknowledge the ancestors that paved the way for all of us to be here. And I want to specifically speak about my ancestors. And I want to go back in time to my great grandfather, Joe Bradford, who was a slave on the Bradford plantation. And he met this woman on the plantation. Her name was Martha. And he fell in love with Martha, but Martha was the slave master's daughter. And he was bold enough to take Martha and put her on the Underground Railroad. And then he hid in the forest with the Choctaw Indians. So by the time he was found, slavery, they were free. And he went and found Martha, who he had played, and they got married. And from that union, children were born. One of them, and then there's my father, Marion McGee, a man from Lexington, Mississippi, that moved to Chicago and was a cab driver and worked hard and was courageous. And then he became the general manager, the first African-American general manager of Yellow Cab Company in Chicago. And so moving forward, there was a man that I met in Chicago named Walter Brandon. And we got married some years after I met him. And I found out he had sickle cell disease. And we moved from Chicago to Philadelphia. And he co-founded the organization that I work for, the Philadelphia Delaware Valley chapter of the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America. Walter was an advocate, a very caring man who made an impact, not only in the community, but on my life, because I still continue this work. Unfortunately, Walter passed in 1998 at the age of 59 from complications of the disease. So I think about how I got here, who I came through, what I learned from my grandfather being a slave, and then putting his beloved on the Underground Railroad. I think about him. What were his thoughts and how did he navigate that and the fear that he carried with that? And then I think about all of you, that we only have one day to celebrate the kings that you are. And the other days when you step out, you don't know what may happen. You don't know what you will be up against when you return. You have sons that you are seeing and again, specific people, but Black men. So this is so important. When I Father's Day, as we say, and people say, "Oh, the mothers get everything; they get all the gifts." But I salute you, whether you have children or not. You are making an impact in the community through your service as doctors, through your service as a historian, and making a difference. I want to acknowledge Ron Brown. We've heard about Opal Lee, the grandmother of the Juneteenth movement, but we have a treasurer in Philadelphia named Ron Brown who has been working toward over 20 years. Finally, Juneteenth declared as a national holiday. And then we'll talk about World Wednesday. I just want to take you back to another man in history of sickle cell, Dr. James Herrick, who was a doctor in Chicago, who was treating a patient, a dental student from Grenada, who was having a lot of complications. And when they did the research and the testing, they found out that his blood cells were sickling. And that was in 1910 when they declared that sickle cell was now something that they had to do research and study more. So there's a lot of intersection here, and especially with me, Father's Day, Juneteenth, Medical Awareness Day. And I just want all of how when we did the 19th, June 19th is a very important number. The number 19, you know, you have a 1 and a 9, and you put those together. 1 is the beginning, 9, and you put together, and means that 9 represents us being able to move forward, to move on. And so the next chapters are coming. The next chapters are coming. And in closing, I want to read something to you. It's written by a woman named Brenda G. Stanley. And it's called, you know, when I think about Black men, I think about the love that they have, you know, the spirit that they have, you know, and how they're fighting against outside forces all the time, but yet they continue to have the love. So here is a poem that I selected that's a salute to all of you this morning. And the name of it is When a Black Man Loves. I want to say that again. When a Black man loves. The love of a Black man is like the vertebrae that holds the body straight. It supports the bones that give frame and carries a name spoken by kings. His blood flows like a river through his children's veins, from generation to generation, raising a nation of kings and queens. Wisdom reigns when a Black man loves. His mind, deep, contemplative, vigilant, nurturing his children, building his community, and shielding his people from all harm. When a Black man loves, you can hear it in his heart as it beats, smooth rhythms of strength and life. When a Black man loves, Black women rise and rest in his embrace, basking in a richness greater than diamonds. And their souls are at peace as they smile at the world, inhaling and exhaling the sweet aroma of life without fear because of his love. When a Black man loves. Ashe, amen, and
Ashe,
so it is.
Ashe. Reverend Zemoria, thank you. You are always so full of wisdom. I hope that, would you please send me a copy of that poem, because I would like all of our guests to have a copy of that. Wasn't that beautiful? That was absolute. What a Black
I
man
will.
Yes.
And a black man loves.
Yes, 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 yes,
What would we
yes.
be without the black man's love? Where would
Nowhere.
we be without the black man's love?
Nowhere. And I just have to,
We salute you,
share.
each and every
We
one of you.
salute you. You're our kings. We love you. We love you. So first of all, thank you, Patricia, for chiming in and reminding us to be grateful for all those who came before us and gave us the freedom and opportunities that we have. Many thanks to those whose shoulders we stand upon. So Patricia said, who is that poem by?
It's Brenda G. Stanley. Brenda G.
Well,
Stanley.
I'm going to get a copy of that poem because that's beautiful. All our guests should have it, and a lot more people should have it. I'm going to turn over and go
Yes.
around and ask our questions. So my perspective,
Yeah.
you hear the
So
comment, all the broken homes and black men, leaving our women or leaving our children. And, just that story you told, my perspective on that is this. This is something we talk about, intergenerational trauma. Some of the greatest strength and the deepest love was displayed because our men knew that in many situations, if they were to stay, that meant continued hardship and death. So those that could get away and have those stories where they hid for years until the approximation emancipation. But there's a piece of that story for intergenerationally that leaving was the most loving thing they could do, the safest thing they could do, despite the heartbreak. And unfortunately, in modern day, so I'm counting on these men that we're seeing on camera today to be a part of taking that golden thread and knitting it back together. So now that, we can stay, and even when we have to break apart and who knows, become a part of a blended family. I'm a part of a blended family, that we are able to knit our hearts and our communities back together again, based on the strength of that tremendous love and courage that Black men have always displayed. Coming from the mother, surviving the Middle Passage, arriving today, and arriving from different parts of the world. Dr. Sanul talks about his father, his love from his father, and there was a journey from another country, the country of Haiti, and the colonialism that was experienced on that country, as well as the battles and the fight for freedom. So I bow down to all the kings that I'm seeing, all the kings upon whose shoulders I stand, and I'm just in such wonderful company. So let's just go on. Let's just jump. So, Dr. Jared, you're there on top of my screen. What does freedom mean to you now, and what do you want to pass on in terms of protecting that freedom to the next generation? And take that from any point of view you would like, but most importantly, let us know about what's coming up.
All right. Absolutely, Dr. Carol. Freedom to me is, it is a super broad term, and it can mean so many things. And particularly as you feel like a Black man in America, freedom means so many things. As I listen to stories from my parents and when my grandparents were still living, and all of my family who originated in Mississippi. So we do know
wow.
after doing some studying, we found, some family members, and we've tried to trace lineage back. But as many of you know who have tried to do these types of things, it becomes very difficult once we get around the slave era and we don't have documentations. So we don't exactly know where these people fit in our lives as we try to trace our roots all the way back. However, realizing the freedoms that began, several hundred years ago, and that we still may not be free because there are a lot of things that are carried on our shoulders. There are a lot of things that we as Black men tend to look at that actually gets in the way of a lot of other people and the way people view our role in society. So one of our goals is to always have people stand up in your uniqueness, celebrate your differences, celebrate the value you bring to this world. And oftentimes we define that in a very, very linear fashion because, well, as we go and we may learn some things coming up, we may learn some things in school, and then we kind of continue on a narrow pathway. And with freedom, you have lots of choices. And people often define themselves within a box, or they often put limitations on them because they don't feel that they can step out in their boldness. They don't feel they can step out in their uniqueness, or they feel that their contribution to society may not be as what it should be because of who they feel they are, or they may not totally feel free. And it takes a lot of time to get to that point in your life. And for me, it took an entire revelation of things that happened in my life to say, okay, well, I'm placed in the United States. I do have some freedom, but what am I looking for? Am I looking for things that will kind of chain me to maybe a job or a career or a location, or I'm looking to things that will loosen those shackles and free me to do other things that I completely wouldn't have done? For example, me as a pediatrician coming up through life, you kind of say, okay, if you want to be a doctor, well, you have to go to medical school. So you figure out how to do that. And I traveled from Xavier University of Louisiana off to Case Western Reserve Medical School in Cleveland. And I started studying medicine, ended up getting my degree. And within that time, there were a lot of people that really said, well, this is what you do. When you become a doctor, you go work in a clinic, you go work in a hospital, you go work for a big corporation, and that's how life is. No one ever told me that there are choices around that, and choices that can make an entire difference in your own life. And it wasn't until I had a moment in my life to just completely step back away from medicine and reevaluate all the important things in my life, including my roles as a father, including my role as a husband, including my role as a brother, cousin, son, grandson, you name it. All of these other way more important roles than me as being a doctor. And it was at that time I really started looking at career change and how career change is one of those things that, well, working every day provides a means to get what you want, but are you really free? Oftentimes you get tied into contracts, you get tied into work, you get tied into so many other things that narrowly define what you do. So therefore, it doesn't leave you as free. It doesn't leave you to do anything. And this is one of the reasons I'm bringing my Licensed to Live conference. You can find more information at licensedtolive.com, licensedtolive.com. And I'm bringing it to Philadelphia this summer so that people can look at all of the skills, all of the talents they already have inherently, and then they can make some choices that will allow them to live life more freely, particularly around their career. So freedom means so many things. And I think we could probably have a 8-hour seminar with this group of guests on today, Dr. Carol. But when I look at the tie and the link from many of my ancestors, as far back as I can trace into slavery and sharecropping and things like that, that continued, that happened in Mississippi to my family. I look at where I stand today and realize a lot has changed, but we have a lot more work to do.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. And Dr. Jared, I just want all the people on this panel to make a commitment to come to License to Live. It's live this year. It's in person. Of course, wear a mask, practice distancing, lots of hand washing, but the opportunity to come together, because this is also, it's beyond survival. This is about thriving as a community, as a people. This is about making impact on the world. So I'm going to be there. I'm so happy that I'm going to be speaking, of course, talking about that all important mindset and the things that we could do to be in peak flow, strengthen our ability to stand the test of time, to withstand all that life has in store for us and that throws at us. So thank you so much. And I'm going to go on to Dr. Kwame. We're just going around the square. What does freedom mean to you, and what would you like to pass on through your work, Awesome Dad Playbook, with a wonderful, wonderful launch coming up this Tuesday?
Oh, yeah.
Now we can't hear you, Dr. Kwame.
Mm-mm.
We were having, again, we just gonna roll with it.
I'm here. I'm
There
sorry.
you go.
I am
There you
having some technical difficulties here. Thank you so much for the opportunity to talk about freedom. I really thought that what Dr. Jared was saying about the ability for us to have freedom in our choice of how we provide for our family is truly a demonstration of freedom. And one of the freedoms that we probably take for granted in this country, mainly because of the way that we are um, groomed to pick a profession and then execute that profession by going to work every day and building our identity into our profession. And the United States is really a culture that drives that so much of our self-worth is about our net worth and about what we do for a living. And there are so many other places in the world that value much more different things than that. And, it takes a people who actually know and understand what it's like to live without freedom to really give you the greatest insight on what freedom truly is, because you don't appreciate it when you have it, but when you don't have it, you certainly know what the absence of freedom is. And I know that the people who founded this country many years ago, not just the Black people who built it, which we celebrate on Juneteenth as well, not just that they were liberated from slavery, but also we recognize the contributions of Black people to building this society, even while they were enslaved. And very much so, the contributions of Black people are weaved into the fabric of this country, even if it's not commonly recognized. We look at our founding forefathers and those who are listed in that Declaration of Independence, those who signed the first declarations of freedom that established our government as the founding forefathers. But as a people, we really should look at those founding forefathers who we don't even know, but we feel as it courses through our bloods, that heritage courses through our blood, the contributions of Black people in this country. But that just I want to come back full circle to what freedom means. And again, from the perspective of someone who hasn't had it, we know that educational freedom was one of the very first things that Black people sought to achieve. And it's the idea that knowledge is power, and knowledge gives us the ability to tap into those things that make us unique, and those things that give us purpose, that give us something to give to the rest of the world. So freedom is the ability to understand things and to be able to take in information and process them and have a connection to the creator that allows us to make the contribution that we individually were created to do. And anything short of that, it might feel like freedom. We might fill our lives with things, we might fill our lives with experiences. But if you are living in the absence of purpose, I encourage you to tap into what it is that your purpose truly is, what it is that God designed you to do. And believe me, when you register with that and you spend your time tapping into self and developing self so that you can deliver to the world everything that was put into you from birth, everything that was put into you through your ancestry. And in our place as Black people celebrating on Juneteenth weekend, the ancestry that comes from the strength of and the determination of building a nation through even slavery, through even not being financially compensated for your work, through not even being acknowledged as a fully human person in the documents that live in this country that we still live in and that we contributed so much to. You know, if you ask a Black man who's watching the things that have happened over the last several years with Black people and their treatment by the police, you know, the way that our communities are policed is not equal. It doesn't grant us true freedoms. No one should fear the people who drive around our communities with the sign "to serve and protect" on the side of their vehicles. No one should have to fear that and fear for their lives. It's the absence of freedom that shines light on what freedom truly is. So my book, The Awesome Dad Playbook, is information for fathers that helps you to tap into the freedom of your purpose and how you go about establishing relationships with your children so that you can pass your knowledge, pass your wisdom, pass your understanding onto the next generation. And it's the relationships that allow you to have influence. Without influence, you can't communicate these things. We can't shove information down anyone's throat. They have to receive it and willingly acknowledge it. Because, and take this down, in communication, you can say whatever you want to say, but what has been communicated is what the person who's listening understands. The information that's been passed is only as effective as the person who's receiving it understands it to be. So influence is being able to communicate in a way that people understand and it resonates with people and it makes them want to take action and it makes them want to fully get the grasp on what it is that you've communicated. And so this book is a tool book, really, for dads to be able to connect with their children. And we need that so much because, as you mentioned, Dr. Carol, Black people, Black men have thought it might be the best and most loving thing to do for a family sometimes to just step out of the way. You know, this is such a difficult task. The society has made it so difficult for me to parent. The woman who birthed the children sometimes has made it so difficult for me to parent. The legal system has made it so difficult for me to parent. In cases where families were denied economic support when they were living beneath the poverty line, the only way those families could get support from this government is for the father to actually be out of the household. When the economics says that the only way that I can have freedom And the only way I can parent my child is to step out of the way. We need so much to bring us back to the table. We need so much to empower us to be able to feel that we can take our rightful place as leaders of our families, of leaders of our home. And this is just one small contribution. But if you have a man in your life and you love that man, especially if it's a Black man, go on Amazon, get that book. Join me on Tuesday for our discussion about the book. I'd love to hear your questions, even in any forum. This is something I'm very passionate about. And freedom, guys. Stay in your families, stay involved, stay active. Don't walk away from the opportunity to have impact because you make a difference. Thank you, Dr. Karen.
Thank you, Dr. Kwame. Dr. Kwame, and Tuesday it's going to be on your Facebook.
It will be on my Facebook page. I believe I'll be using a streaming platform like this one, so that also will go out on Instagram. That's Dr. Kwame on all social media platforms at DRKWAMEFOUCHER.
Very good, because also Weightless in Mind, Body, and Spirit is a podcast. So we ask everybody to spell everything because they won't have the visual, but they'll be listening for that. So it's DRKWAMEFOUCHER, right? Dr. Kwame Foucher, right?
Foucher, yes.
Oh,
Dr. Kwame Foucher.
Pronunciation, Foucher, Dr. Kwame Foucher. Beautiful, beautiful. And speaking of French, we're going to move right on over to Dr. Sanul Corrielus. What does freedom mean to you, and what would you like to pass on to the next generation?
Merci beaucoup, merci beaucoup. Talking about French. Well, thank you, Carol. Thank you for this is a very loaded question, as was alluded to by my previous super friends, Dr. Jared and Dr. Foucher, who actually did a very great job really going through what freedom means. And I could not agree more. I certainly want to add to what they have stated so far. To me, I believe that the ultimate definition of freedom is really for one to be able to live on purpose in an authentic way. That is, we have to understand that there are so many things, there are so many factors that get in the way of us being our true authentic self, finding our true authentic self. And that's why to live in that purpose, to find that purpose, is a lifetime journey, as was mentioned. It's there's so many factors, there's so many things that need to be learned, that need to be uncovered. There's some awareness that needs to be, that wants to reach to be able to understand those factors, so that you'll be able to truly find your purpose and live in that purpose intentionally, and so that you can really be free. So I can tell you, for me, it's really being coincidental how I've arrived to my purpose. I arrived to my purpose through my life experience living with my dad, who died at a young age of heart disease. So my purpose is really to help men to live the best time of their lives, to be able to fulfill their lives, by protecting them from dying of heart disease, understanding that heart disease is the #1 killer in our community. Heart disease, our community is dying at devastating rates of heart disease. And the problem with that is that a lot of the community does not understand heart disease. They do not understand the devastation. They are not aware of their risk of dying of heart disease. Neither did my dad. And so I remember very vividly how, when he was suffering of the condition, he had no clue. He had no understanding of what heart disease was, what heart failure was. And so he was really living, trying archaic ways of treating the condition when there were medicines, there were things that he could have done that would have alleviated his symptoms and made him more comfortable. And so, keeping in mind that at that time, he had a doctor who he was seeing. And yet, the doctor-patient relationship was not at a level where he was able to get the information from the doctor. He was able to get the knowledge that he needed to be able to take care of his condition. So that's where my purpose came in, really, to be able to be that provider, to be able to be that physician that can relate to my patient in a way that now there's not much of a divide. So I can relate, connect, so that you understand your condition. You understand what you need to do in order to empower yourself, in order to be able to take care of yourself. So you will not suffer the consequences, the devastation of the heart disease, of the heart condition, as my dad did. So that was how I arrived to my purpose. And I can tell you that every day, every breath I have, I speak to men about heart disease, about how to protect themselves, how to empower themselves. It's effortless. It's really really at that point where I can tell you it feels free. I feel the freedom of being able to doing that. I feel a sense of accomplishment. I feel that every time that I get a chance to touch a man and able to really enlighten them, raise their awareness, I am contributing to the to their purpose. I'm contributing to society. I'm advancing life. And so for others, it's going to be different. It's going to be different how you arrive to that point where you get to that, where you feel that sense of accomplishment, where you feel that sense of freedom. But I will tell you that you should not rest until you're able to do that. You should continue, like Dr. Jared mentioned, seek information. Information is knowledge. And those are the ways that you will be able to find that purpose, by really getting more information, getting the knowledge, knowing what you don't know. Because a lot of times that might be where your purpose lies. And so don't get into that cookie cutter, that what society has, or what the culture has determined your path is to be, like Dr. Foucher mentioned, right? So you have to be able to understand that there are many ways, there are many other options that are out there. And the only way of being able to finding them is really to tap into access. You have to be able to access the information and get mentors, get really into relationships where you're able to invest, you're able to share, and at the same time you're able to receive. And so that's how you're going to be able to find your purpose. And so one of the other aspect of the question is what am I going to give to the next generation, the other generation? It's really, to me, goes back to how my dad really created that opportunity for me to being able to find that purpose, not by him intentionally suffering from heart disease, but by him being able to bring me here to the lands of opportunities, to the United States. I'm originally from Haiti. My dad is from Haiti. He left, like Kel mentioned, he left Haiti out of intentionally because to stay there was really adding to the hardship. There was a lot of hardship in Haiti, and I've been the youngest of 9 children. he realized that he needed to bring us to bring more. He needed more resources and more opportunities. So that's how he was able to come to the United States when I was very young, at the age of 3, to be able to pave the way. And I came to join him when I was 18. And that's when I started enrolling in school here, went to college. And a year later is when he died. So to me, it was a sense of accomplishment for him. I hope this was, he felt a sense of accomplishment. It felt a sense of freedom by doing that. But then what he did was really, he opened the land of opportunity for me. It opens that ability for me to explore, for me to get knowledge, for me to really now, not I was inspired by his condition, but then it was not hard for me to find the knowledge and dig more. So what I'm seeking to do for my children and carrying this on is really to be able to give them the exposure that they need, the exposure, the access. I believe that with access, with exposure, we have tremendous opportunities to really find who we are, to find our purpose, and continue to be what God has wanted us to put us here to be. Find our true authentic self. Thank you for the opportunity to be in here, and I'm going to pass the mic. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. But before you go, Dr. Sanul, how can people get in touch with you?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I am on all forms of social media at Dr. Corrielus. Corrielus. Again, it's Drcorrielus. Thank you.
So Dr. Corrielus, wonderful. And now, my beloved, Mr. Diem Jones, what does freedom mean to you? And take us home with this. What are you hoping to pass on to the next generation? Then we're going to let everybody get on to the celebrations and the birthday brunches and the Juneteenth, and we're going to have our own children around and pass on. I was taking notes because this was a profound conversation. Mr. Jones.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I'm so grateful to hear my brothers this morning and my sister share their thoughts, their love, and what I have to share comes as a poem in motion from all of your words. Inspire your desire to be your best. Freedom rings, it's a calling. Freedom sings in the song of life. Freedom is your soul's calling to love yourself, so self-love can open your gratitudes, your gratefulness to pass the batons of wisdom to those who will be gifted with the leadership of tomorrow. Freedom starts with self-love. Authenticate your love so yourself can be free enough to lead and pass that baton. In honor of our spirits of yesterday and faith in our ability to make tomorrow a better day by sharing, caring, and thinking and knowing. Freedom rings in your heart and advances tomorrow. You can't be a father till you know a father. You can't see a father till you be a father. You can't father a daughter, a son, or yourself until you open your heart and share your light. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. And so one of our viewers, Lynn Parker Edwards, is saying, thank you all for your dedication and contributions to our community. God bless you. This is from a woman who is part of a legendary local medical family, the first. So, a family, they were medical doctors, they were dentists, in a time all landing in the community of Red Bank, New Jersey, back in the day when there were no hospitals that admitted, had no admitting privileges. It was her uncle that became the first African American doctor in 1955 with admitting privileges in a hospital in New Jersey. So proud to be connected to that family, to those children, and now we have children, and some of those children have children. So all the ways that the African American community continues to thrive the world over, continues to thrive in the work that we are all doing, and how we are all touching all parts of the globe. And again, I am just looking forward to us all converging in person. Even you, Dr. Kwame, come on out there from Chicago, wherever you're going to be, and make it to Philadelphia the week of July 16th. Yeah, we going to see you in person. Kwame going to see you in person. Get your plane ticket and come on for the
Hey,
rest.
Dr. Jared knows I'd be happy to even join him as a speaker. I'm surprised I hadn't heard anything about coming and helping him out.
Look,
Yeah.
I'll let you all talk about that and work that out offline now that we've
Mm-hmm.
this has been such a powerful show, everyone. We have, my goodness, we're all best-selling authors. We all are doing things in the world that are just amazing. And I say, you know what, I want to do my part to make sure that none of us are best kept secrets. And so, yes, we had a little bit of technical challenges today. We persevered. We're going to get this word out. I'll be sending it out links in my newsletter as well. So there's opportunities, and there's so much wisdom that everyone brought to the table. And part of encouraging that wisdom, my journal is out for men and women, Meditation in Time of Madness journal. We are going through a time of madness, living, loving, and leading when it matters most. And not only is this a time of madness now, but for us historically as well. So let's do everything that we can do to be the change that we want to be in the world. And Reverend Zemoria, we have 1 minute left. Will you just bless us and take us out into the world?
Yes. I just want to say thank you for giving us a safe space to share our thoughts with no judgment. I just want to say thank you to the brothers being able to open up and share some deep-hearted thoughts and feelings. I love the fact of men not feeling that they have to fit into a box that has been designed by society. As my mother would say, to thine own self be true. And then there's another quote, be yourself because everyone else is taken. And when I heard that quote, I was like, oh my goodness, I'm walking down this path, which is not really helping me. So why can't I just surrender and be who I am, who I was designed to be, from all that was put in me when I came into the universe? So I want to say thank you to these brothers, Philadelphia, Chicago, and across the globe, and to the audience that listened in on this Sunday morning of the Juneteenth weekend, World Sickle Cell Awareness Day, and Father's Day. We salute you. I look forward to being at the conference July 16th. I want to be able to spread the word to not only other medical professionals, but other people that can use the tools that will be generated from this conference to apply to other areas of their life. I say thank you to my sister, Dr. Carol Penn. Many blessings to you. You've been through a lot, but you're made strong. And I want to thank your love, your mate, Diem Jones. And I want to thank Ron Brown, who is actually my mate, and due to technical difficulties, was not able to really speak his truth, and he has quite a bit of truth to share. So thank you for this Sunday morning. And my mother would always say, Happy Sunday. Thank you. Blessings to everyone.
Blessings. Happy Sunday. Happy Father's Day. Juneteenth, World Sickle Cell Awareness. It's up to us, folks. Let's keep spreading the word. Let's do a good thing. And let's meet in Philly at License to Live.
And one other thing. Happy summer solstice. Today is the first day of summer. Summer solstice.
The first day of summer. And I couldn't think of a better way to kick all of it off. I'll be seeing you all. Thank you. This is yours truly, Dr. Carol Penn, your host of Weightless in Mind, Body, and Spirit. Bye, everyone.
All right,
Okay,
then.
bye-bye.
Hi, everyone. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.